Well, this has never happened before. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm guessing you can hear me. Um, in another act of pure Google class, the computer has. I don't know, can you guys hear me? I pressed go live, it went live, and then immediately everything crashed. Um, and it was Chrome that initiated it. So you're probably seeing a black screen right now. Hopefully, you're hearing my voice. And I'm going to try. I don't know. When I try and reinitiate the camera. Oh, right, okay. OBS is coming back. I have no idea if you're going to be able to see me or not. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Oh, look at that. So it seems to be working again now. Well, isn't that wonderful? That was strange. I don't know how long you guys were in the dark for, but I actually, everything froze and all the timers and everything froze. So I had to get my phone and I turned on the stopwatch to see how far potentially I was out. Um, but yeah, anyway, once again, we are back in ASMR mode, just so you know, because I'm in another place with very thin walls. This is even smaller than the last place. So we are going to be back in ASMR mode, but we are also still back doing what we do. So thank you so much for holding on. I do want to have a quick look through the comments. Backup broadcast, the dark theme, indeed. Sheep learning to read, Paul. Oh, the band, Sheep Literature or something. And the why you hate thing, I never understood that. There's some meme that started on this channel that had nothing to do. I still don't get it. Can we hear you? So back a radio today. It was for a bit. Yeah, I can hear you. And yeah, black screen. Thank you. Dark in here, is it not? Oh my god, it's horrible. Runaway. Thank you for that. You might be technologically cursed. We'll get on to that a bit because obviously this week has had all kinds of upsets. But I think we've been in the dark for years. Howard all says again, yay, X the Biscuit, support drummer GMI, the Howard, TM, oing to do karaoke requests, or going to do Twist and Shout by Chubby Checker. Alright, so first things first, I must start off by just saying, in case anyone wasn't aware, this week has been somewhat marked by me not being able to get on the internet for it. Now, for anyone who wasn't on the community pages, I kept on doing the videos, but I wasn't able to log in to Studio. I was able to log into only, I think I might. Did I mention this in the last live stream? I think the problem started before the last live stream. That basically I could only get into Google websites. Well, that slowly changed. Then I couldn't get into Studio anymore, just YouTube and Google. Then I couldn't get into YouTube anymore, and then even Google searches, which were previously working, but if you clicked on any of them, it wouldn't open the page. Then even Google search wouldn't work, and basically the computer just completely was unable to access the internet. Long story short, I managed to work it out myself. It was a bug, a bug in the virus checking software, but it had changed the settings. So even if you turn the virus protection off, it didn't actually fix the problem. So I, reset some drivers, deleted the antivirus, got a new antivirus, did all of that. Obviously, it's on the free setting. I can't afford to pay for antivirus, and and then it just all suddenly came back to life. And during that period, I moved to the new place. Hence, seems to be better Wi-Fi in here anyway. So all things are pretty good. Plus, while I'm here, I have access to. I was about to say, I think I might have lost it. I have access to a little Wi-Fi walking box, the ones where you walk around with it. So, I do have mobile Wi-Fi on my mobile, but it means that I might be able to do some out and about stuff for maybe the next live stream if I'm still here. So that's cool to think about. The internet problem is why there hasn't been any content this week, but it's really annoying because there was some stuff I really had to get out this week, but now we're really far behind, which of course brings me on to one of the subjects of this video, which is that there's been a lot of new releases. I will notably say that I will be talking about the new Nemophila song, because obviously they're quite big at the moment. I've listened to it now. I've got a few things to say about this. So that is going to come up. Another, maybe one of the good flip sides to all the technological problems that we're still suffering this week is that just today, just like a couple of hours ago, some of you might notice that we got our community tab back, which is supposed to be at 1,000 subs. Now, we're not at 1,000 subs, but I thought what a fantastic chance to ask a Cluepo question. So if you want to answer a question about Cluepo, just so we get some statistics on that post in our community page on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel and click the community tab, or it might just come up in your feed. Do that, and then hopefully if they realize there's been a mistake and YouTube trying to undo it, they'll feel worse about doing it because we've already got content up there with responses. Just saying. Or maybe they've just changed the rules. Who knows? All right, so that's basically me bringing you up to date on most of the things. We will talk a little bit about some more things afterwards, but for now, let's jump into your comments, people. Good, there hasn't been many. So, not so to Chubby Checker, but how about Wind Beneath My Wings then, Paul? How about no? I will just point out, there's more releases coming up soon. Some of them were mentioned. I think Romero was mentioning them before the actual stream started. But we've got bands like Audius, Dizzy Sunfist. They're releasing new stuff as well. I think you mentioned Mary's Blood's one of them. So there's quite a few new releases coming out. I have recorded a lot of videos. I've done a review. Well, I'm just editing today a review of the Nemophila song review. I've got another one. I did there. I wanted to review the new Lisa song. There was a Tokyo Jihen song that came up that I wanted to talk about. The Bish album review. Obviously, I redid that along with the Patreon one. I had to redo them outside. Again, I could kind of record in here, but just due to the sound limitations, I can't really speak loud in these rooms. I mean, literally, the walls are bare. They're visual protection more than audio protection, just like the last place, but that's the best I can afford really, other than a hostel where everyone's sleeping in the same room. So actually this place is really good value, but as a result I can't really record properly in here. So rather than editing the one I did like over a month ago, I decided it would be not too much of a problem to go outside and re-record it, so I've been re-recording those. There is a bunch of stuff I needed to get out the way this week. As some of you know, I did fix the internet problem yesterday, so you're probably wondering, Howard, why didn't you post anything today? I was actually planning to, but I might as well admit, the place I'm in at the moment has a shared kitchen, and I have virtually run out of cash. Cash. I got some cash for work stuff, but the cash is actually mine, that I can actually use. So I used the last I could of that, and then I won't name drop anyone without their permission, but a certain person on this community very nicely sent me the little voucher cards you can use in loads of shops here in Japan. Sent them in the post to me. And it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. It's been paying for the drink, which I'm about to pour, amongst other things. It was brilliant, but I was very careful. I looked through the shops that you could use it in. I went to just the right shops to get the best value on all the sustenance I needed. And I had worked out, so I had just enough to get me through a week on these little vouchers. And one of the things I bought was chicken. Very important. And so for these few days, I was supposed to be living on a mixture of some of the noodles that I had and chicken. I went to the shared freezer this morning. Someone has stole my fucking chicken. I wrote my name on that. Someone stole my fucking chicken. Sorry, I know, just in case you weren't aware, this is a profane live stream. But yes, someone stole my chicken, which really ruined my day, and so I had to spend today trying to find some way of getting something to put with the pasta. So I managed to do that amongst other things I had to do out and about, but that kind of slowed things down, and got back, started working on doing a couple of videos, and I just didn't really get them done in time. So I thought, I really didn't want to do it. This was supposed to be the week where we were like one video every day, including shorts and stuff. And this ended up being another one of those no video weeks, which I didn't want ever to happen again. So at least I can blame it on technology and chicken thieves. There you go. Anyway, the person who seems to run this place is actually really nice. But I did kind of say we need a sign on the fridge saying, "Don't steal my food or I'll kill you." All right, let's go back and see what everyone's talking about here. Harry 404 page not found. Yeah, I googled for the picture of the 404 dinosaur. Marta says, greetings. Hey, Marta, how you doing? Howard, you have missed a momentous occasion. CMC and I both liked an album. Clearly, this is a sign of the end times. Which album? I must know. Knew the Peggies. Oh, yeah, of course, the Peggies. They've had a lot of stuff coming. I really need to talk about them. Unfortunately, the Peggies videos never seem to get many views, which was always a shame, but I might just do a little thing covering their latest release as well. Rev says, from YouTube to get community tab, you need more than 500 subscribers. It used to be 1,000, but starting October 12th, 2021, it certainly didn't start then for us here in Japan, but fair enough. YouTube will make the tab available to more creators. Brilliant, thank you, Rev. I did Google it as well, and I didn't get the up-to-date article. CMC, okay, so no Wembley for Wings. Surely about some Celine Dion, then Paul, shame. Yeah, I would gladly sing, but I already told you I can barely talk in a place like this. Mirai, where's Trick? We need a Bastards Poe meme for the chicken thieves. Yeah, I'm with that. Sven, ASMR Howard is back. ASMR Howard is back. For now. I mean, hey, if this becomes good value and I end up staying here for a while, hey, ASMR Howard might be a regular thing on live streams at least. That's not cool for a starving GMRP. I agree. Do you know, I actually felt particularly angry because I was just thinking about the fact that I bought that chicken using like the gift cards, which were a gift in themselves. So I actually felt like someone had both stolen from me and from my wonderful card Patreon. Disgusting. Chicken ran off. You have to kill it before putting it in the fridge. Chicken thieves. Bastards pot. Agreed. So Marta says, I suppose I'll give the Dizzy Sunfist album a listen, but my expectations are not high. They only have one song that I like. Yeah, I'll kind of repeat what I said about Dizzy Sunfist before. I think they could do some amazing things, but I think I see them as a simple pleasure. You know, I don't expect too much from them. I like what they do. It's fun. It's catchy. That's enough for me. But yeah, I'm not expecting to be like blown away, but hey, they might do. I've known bands who are not that technical do some pretty surprisingly amazing things from time to time. It all depends on where the band's head's at, what they want to do, and how well they know themselves, I guess. And again, the Birds I saw seemed pretty well fed in Tokyo. Perhaps you can invite one for dinner. I bet there is somewhere where people do actually do that. Pigeon and chips. CMC is going to kill me. Album agreed on with Ivan Kana is Disguise Moratorium by Split End. Oh, Split End. Cool. Yeah, no, I did want to check that out. Split End were interesting for sure. Martin Chicken was nice. Had it for lunch. Lovely. Chuck Cluck Po. Do you mean my chicken? Whoever so dares to steal chicken shall be struck down by the claws of a pack of velociraptors. Velociraptors were actually nothing like movies. They were really, really small. They were like chicken-sized themselves. So it's probably not actually that scary. But I like the idea. More like late-night radio DJ, lol. Thank you. Welcome to Late Night once again. I did this joke last time. I'll do it again. Rena gave me a heart, says Martin. Really? I wonder what for. Oh, was that on... Did you comment on one of her YouTube blog things and she gave you a little heart mark? I'm guessing that's probably where it was. The English in Dizzy Sunfist is hard to listen to for me. Yeah, they sing it all in English, but I didn't even really realise that at first because it's not exactly what you call blisteringly good English. Maybe I could do a remake of Play Misty for me called Play Klupo for me. Rena Hart comes with a requirement to be indoctrinated as henchman. Yes, you have basically become a minion of the Rena. Not that I'm thinking many people would disagree with that. All right, let's move on to today's beer. It's not as cheap as Bar Real, I'll be honest with you. This is a more expensive beer than Bar Real, but considering Bar Real is only available for Eon and my little coupon cards didn't work in Eon, I went to the next cheapest beer that you could buy. This was from Lawson. It's pretty much the exact same drink as Bar Real, except it basically, if you're from the UK and you know what own brand products look like, you'll know what I'm getting at with this. This looks so own brand. I love this. Gold Master beer like alcoholic beverage. All right, let's pop this open. This is real ASMR time again, just like last week. Sorry, not the banging on the table bit. Welcome to ASMR drinking time. It's like drinking, but really chilled out. All right. Yeah, I'm also keeping an eye on some other artists. I think Wagaki Band are likely to have something else soon. I know they're not far off their last album, but I've heard some rumours that something's going to be coming out of them as well. I am going to be checking out some stuff by Love Bites. I know a lot of people are not fans of Love Bites here, but I kind of felt that considering we've covered so much Bandmade and considering the last time I did cover Love Bites, we got a lot of positivity. And of course, they were actually one of the earlier bands that we covered on the channel. I don't know whether our first Love Bites review was before the first Bandmade one. Actually, no, I don't. I think it was probably a couple of weeks after, but we sort of covered them right at the beginning and very recently as well. So I do think there is fair reason to go back and listen to a little bit of what's in between. And plus, you know, even if there's like this thing where people team as either a Bandmade fan or a Love Bites fan, I do think that you can't really be on one side unless you're doing your research properly. So, yeah, I enjoyed the last song I heard by them. A lot more than the first stuff I heard, which wasn't that bad, but wasn't like wowing me hugely. So I'm going to do a couple more reviews of their stuff as well. So yeah, I will be cruising around a few things. I've got a lot of videos now that I'm going to jump into. I've also slightly tweaked the recording outside format to try and make it a bit more interesting. So I'm going to use a few more like band images and things like that and cut them over some of the talking stuff. So there's a little bit of a mix of me in interesting locations and, you know, band photographs as well. Put them up full screen rather than in the corner. So I'll be playing around with a few things to try and make those videos a bit better, because it seems that's the way the videos are going to be for a little while. Kind of bugging me because obviously the sound quality is not so great, but I'm getting used to knowing where to record and how to get like the best quality sound. You used to be able to, in the 100 yen shops, you used to be able to get like a little clip mic, which was about as good as a phone mic, but you know, but just a little clip mic that you could connect to your phone and would go and put on your shirt. You can't get them anymore. I wish I could get one of those, because that would be really good for cutting out sound, like external sound. But anyway, but maybe I can find one of those on. I got some Amazon credit because they gave me a refund, which they put onto my account. Maybe I can get a little clip microphone off Amazon if it's not too much money. I don't know if you can hear that, but despite me being quiet, this is a particularly loud area. This is a loud and somewhat seedy area. I would be lying if I didn't say that the place I'm staying is opposite to a Thai massage parlor and above a place where every time I walk past and see through the frosted window, there's clearly a large gambling establishment in there with people playing games on card tables. And the building next to mine has a huge 4-story sign saying girls. I'm saving money. Some intrepid person is going to use this information to work out exactly where I am. All right. So let's have a look and see what everyone's typing. Sorry, I just kind of got into a little world of my own there. Occasionally I have to talk about things that aren't the comments, but I love to read the comments. I love to be on top of all the comments. There's been a lot. I must admit, I will just point out, sorry, before, this place has been pretty nice though, with exception to the chicken thing and that. This is really good, comfortable bed. The Wi-Fi, like I say, is really good in here, and it's really good value as well. So I'm hoping I am actually hoping I can stay in this place for a little bit longer while I get stuff sorted out. So, right, where did we come up to? Probably the great taste of Tesco Value Lager. Tesco Value Lager was, I don't know about now, but it's really good. There used to be a website which you could go onto, which would show you who actually makes the own brand stuff in supermarkets in the UK. I don't think that exists anymore, because James was telling me that own brand stuff has kind of disappeared from a lot of them. But obviously, like, it's not like Tesco actually made their own lager. And I think the Tesco one was something really weird, like it was Grolsch or something. It was actually a really good one. But it was just the dregs, the mass of their fermenting dregs. Should that not say Goldmaster and Princess Momo Cucumber? Nice. Good. I like that. That was quick. I'm wearing my jammies right now. Not indoctrinated at all. No, Byron. Yeah, what is this jammies thing? I still don't get it. It's something to do with Scandal, but I don't know exactly what it was. Tesco's Value, etc. These days, the packaging on own brand stuff is a lot fancier than it used to be. Yeah, James told me that the own brands have kind of been replaced with, like, fake brands. They basically give their own brand a brand name now, which I think is a shame. I remember. I mean, this is just going to go towards the reputation I've got for budgeting, but I liked it. For me, it was something rewarding when you could look down at your shopping basket and everything was clearly own brand packaging. But you knew you'd bought so much stuff. You had like dinner for the next few days. You had some beers. You had coffee. You had all of that, and you could look down and just seeing it was all own brand made you feel proud, because you were like, yeah, I got a really good value. And you could walk up to the counter knowing I'm going to be paying a decent price and I'm going to be getting the best. Whereas apparently now it just looks like normal products, in which case it kind of, I don't see why you would, well, I mean, you'd buy own brand for the same reason, but I don't see, it doesn't draw, it seems to lose the very thing that made it appealing for me, which was that sort of feeling of, yes, I am going for the best value stuff. But of course, especially in places like England, people don't think of value. The cheap is just a dirty word. Okay, they are stuck down the claws. Utahraptors instead, yes. I believe they were bigger. I think Utahraptors were quite big, from what I remember. Not that I was there, but from what I remember of learning about this stuff. Again, beer like, is that how American cheese? Yeah, it's like Budweiser. Actually, yeah, let's think about the things from America that aren't really what they should be. American cheese, American mustard, basically yellow in a bottle. Why did they decide that mustard would be better with no flavour? Is that actually same in France? Why? Now it sounds like I'm just picking on people. French mustard doesn't really taste of anything. American mustard doesn't taste of anything at all. It's just yellow in a bottle. Why is it other countries insist on having mustard that doesn't taste like mustard? Princess Eva, don't worry, CMC, I got that. I guess they aren't a Japanese band then. I don't know what that's in reference to. I think myself accepted a decent amount of Bandmade fans are also fans of Love Bites and Nemogen. Yeah, probably they are. I see they're very different bands, but I see things that would have a Venn diagram crossover, certainly. I've had American cheese from a can. I'm not sure that it's called a cheese product. I was kind of concerned when me and my partner were making breakfast a couple of weeks ago, and she had butter in a squeezy tube that literally looked like a toothpaste tube. Like a toothpaste tube of butter. I was like, what on earth is going on here? Cheese byproduct, maybe. The real American cheese can be found in New Jersey. Okay, we're getting on a whole different subject. Let's have a look. New album's on the way from Iron. That's right, Iron's side project. Already forgotten what it's called, though. Didn't have the catchiest name. It's got another project coming out. Empire, Hello Sleepwalkers, awesome. Actually, they had some songs that didn't really resonate with me, but they had some songs that really did, so I definitely want to give them a listen. Tricot, always interesting, and Pigs. all before Christmas. We've got a lot to get into. Yeah, there's always that period around end of year, beginning of next year where Japanese bands really like to put out material. They don't do it during the summertime here. Not so much, at least. Mirai, but Love Bites and Bandmade aren't even the same genre. There's no reason for them to be mutually exclusive or anything. Drops potential grenade and runs away. Well, if you say they're not the same genre, we have to then go into that whole thing of, are we talking genre or subgenre? I mean, if we were talking about, how macro are we talking about? We could talk about contemporary music. That's just anything done in a style of the last 100 years. Then you could go into rock. Are they both rock? Yes, of a form. And then you could go into, are they both hard rock? I would say so. Yeah, I'd say they're both hard rock. You could argue they both have elements of metal occasionally. Then maybe if you went down to smaller genres than that, then you could maybe pick them apart. But I think like hard rock would encompass them both. But yes, they're different enough in the styles. But I always wonder, where do we stop with genres? Because you could break things down to the point where basically you just, each band could be said to be its own genre. So if someone says to me, Love Bites and Bandmade of the same genre, I'd have no problem with that at all. But I know what you're getting at, don't worry. I'm being facetious. Can you get vouchers for those businesses too? Oh, gambling vouchers. Well, considering gambling is technically illegal here, I guess that's what they are doing, gambling vouchers, those little pachinko things and all that. Well, there's been so many comments, I am way behind. All right, I'm going to have to start, so many comments, I'm going to have to start skipping over some, I think. So yeah, as CMC said, please press like the next out video instead of recording next to a roller coaster and be on a roller coaster. I did genuinely consider after recording the first bit of that, if I had the money, I would have probably, if I had the money and I'd taken the little GoPro thing I've got with me, I would have actually genuinely considered doing that, but I think there would have been no way to get it through security because they check you before you go off, and I didn't have the money for the ride anyway, but that was genuinely on my mind. So your next outdoor, Love Bites must be dibs on good source of that molten cheese. Connection quality does seem noticeably better and more stable these past occasions. I have started tweaking with the internet settings a lot more recently, and I've found a good way with OBS to really get a grasp of what my streaming rate should be. So I've been matching the streaming settings of OBS to the individual internets that I have, so that it's always just the quality it can be and never actually ends up falling behind. So it's doing okay in that sense. But yeah, the internet when it's working at this and the last place has been pretty damn good actually. So and here it seems to be working all the time now, so that's a really good sign. Sloppy seconds after 1OK Rock. I have to go back to work out what it's about. Would be sloppy first because 1OK Rock bassist would have gotten it from us. I've clearly missed something. Blah 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 blah. Thanks for the Reddit link there, CMC's fan. When the French did find out what cheese we eat in Germany, we are dead. I don't know what cheese you eat in Germany. I'm assuming that there's a joke in there that I'm not getting. I always hate when I don't get jokes, but then again, it's always worse when someone spells it out for you, so maybe it's just my fault for being stupid. Andy says, perhaps the change to packaging so you can get good value without the fear of virtue signaling. There's a novel-ish trend of using Aldi bags while shopping from Waitrose to look more savvy. I didn't realise there was that kind of inverse snobbery. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think. I think I'd probably circumvent that entire matter though by saying that I don't even think about what other people think when they see my shopping. I don't give a damn what anyone else thinks when they see my shopping. It's none of their business. It's like when I look at it, I know that I've got the best value. If there's something in there that wasn't own brand, I could look at it and I could say, okay, why am I buying that? Or is that something I particularly care about? But I guess the whole reason I would think the main reason why they changed the branding was because people cared too much about what other people thought. I don't. It's this thing. I don't like. I think there's so many people, they buy their shopping so that other people look at them a certain way. They choose their phone so that other people look at them in a certain way. People buy cars based on this. They buy clothes based on this. People spend such a proportion of their money to affect how they look to other people. And I guess this can be told by the way I look on a regular basis. That's just not me. Obviously, I want to be happy and comfortable with myself, but I couldn't give a damn what anyone else thinks. I really couldn't. So I just, even when I know you're saying this with the best possible sense, but just even when someone mentions something like that, my brain just goes, well, if anyone's thinking that way, then just balls to them. So just wake up, Sorry, it's a subject that I guess it doesn't annoy me. It just kind of really weirds me out when people make their purchases based on what they think other people will think of their purchases. Unless that person is someone who you respect. I mean, like if I was purchasing something to get good value and James was with me, I would perhaps care what he thought because James is someone who, his whole thing is business. So I'd be interested in what James thought. But I think this is a really good deal. Maybe he would agree, maybe he'd disagree. But just thinking what random strangers think about your shopping. So CMC makes a good point. New Bandmate single on 26th and also on extended single First Psyche, Zero exclusive, Sene exclusive lyrics, song, Popo. Love Bites are absolutely not a hard rock band. Old metal, power metal, maybe hard rock, no, pop. Yeah, but see, this is the problem with metal. Metal is, I don't say it, to me, metal is a form of hard rock. I mean, rock came before metal, right? I think we can all agree on that. And metal is effectively there's no changes in the instruments that are used. It's just a harder version. Yeah, okay, some of the writing's slightly different, but I get there are some things that are absolutely metal. You could say, okay, that's like so just playing on the tropes of metal. If you just basically did screamo over double kicks and riffs, I would probably buy that you've got an excuse. But if you're using chord patterns and melodies and hard charging guitars, you're still hard rock in my opinion. Yeah. There's the distinct smell. It smells like gas. Hold on. Blow me up, I'm fine. Someone's angrily trying to kill me for comparing metal and hard rock to each other. They are a power metal band. Apparently power metal to me has always been an interesting one because that what they call power metal or like the arena metal basically just means metal that is hard rock. I know there's differences, but I just think this is when we get into semantics. Well, apparently there is a casino somewhere in Japan, as Tommy posted a video on Instagram of her placing a bet on roulette. She put it on black. Yeah, but it wouldn't actually, it would be a casino in that kind of sense that you're not actually playing for money, but you can get things that can be taken outside to a nearby shop and exchanged for money, tokens and stuff. But there are gambling places here, just ones that try to circumvent the rules. Not the old style of power metal, but the new cheesy kind. All power metal is cheesy. Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you there. Not that cheesy is necessarily bad. Mine says for Crow Casinos, you put it all on tartan, or they put you like a fish right there on the table. Okay. Value brand equals crap, but won't know a branded own brand is an own brand. Also, people are swayed by nice packaging. Agreed with. I'm swayed away by things with nice packaging because they remind me of, like, clothing brands and stuff where you're often paying for something which is just packaging. And also, when you, like I say, there was websites you used to be able to use which would show you where the actual own brand stuff was actually made, and half the time it was good stuff. But people psychologically swayed by the packaging, yeah. New variety is much mouldy and concentrate. Okay, I'm getting a bit disconnected from what we're talking about in some of these, a lot of internal conversations. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna have to skip over some comments. All right, Howard seems to be trying Michael Bay up this episode. Just suddenly the place explodes. And for some reason, Mark Wahlberg appears. People judge me on the music I buy, so I have smuggle stuff under the radar nowadays. Yes, see, if anyone judged me on the music I buy more than anything other than just, oh, that's interesting, why do you like that? If they judged me on it, I wouldn't know them. Sorry, I just, it's one of the many things I have quite a strong opinion on, but I just, if you judge someone on something, there's got to be because you think there's something objectively good or bad about it. And if it's someone's taste in art and you don't like it, then unless you genuinely think that they're not trying to listen to something more interesting, which I don't think is going to be the case with mine, then I don't get it. Andy, I think the tricky part with the metal is an offshoot of rock viewpoint is it's much like how goth was an offshoot of punk. They started in the same place and instrumentally stayed similar but diverged. Yeah. Which is why I think, you look at grunge, punk, and goth. Except for the stuff which is, goth, a lot of the time I don't really think of goth as a genre. I think it's more of a style. Like, as in, like, just an era in a certain style of music. I wouldn't listen to something and say, oh, that's goth. There is some stuff which is so extreme on its punk credentials, you could say that was punk. With grunge, half the time, it's like, is grunge really a genre? I think it's just, it's a certain set of aesthetics, audio aesthetics that appear within that kind of rock. It is basically, in a lot of ways, I've heard it described as slowed down punk, and I think that's not entirely wrong. But it's, a lot of the time it's just like a certain type of style of lyric, but then is there actually a restriction? If you did a grunge song, but it was ironically about being happy, would it then not be grunge? This is my thing. I find anything like this where there's not actually a clear definition, it's just a series of guidelines. You're always playing with fire, trying to be too strident about, well, no, not saying you are, but anyone who's trying to be too strident about this is this genre, I think very often you're opening yourself up to the fact that you can't really produce proper limitations on a lot of genres. No, power metal is not arena metal, two different things. Yeah, I know they're different things, but I was just kind of saying they both have that same issue for me. Power metal not equal to hard rock. Yeah, but again, Love Bites do not sound like Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple. Yeah. But this is the problem, is that, again, I hate to say this because I think a lot of people are going to just think I'm being like too stubborn here. But I think the problem is that if you say Love Bites don't sound like Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple, it's like, well, that just depends on what the size of your lens is. Because, again, if you ask that to someone who doesn't really listen to that much guitar music, they would say, no, Love Bites does sound like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin. To all the ways that would be important to them. This is kind of my point. I'm not saying that I disagree. I'm not saying that they sound like those bands. I'm just saying, do you think a genre is a comfortable thing to use to define that difference? Because I would say Led Zeppelin don't sound anything like Deep Purple in a lot of very important ways. But I don't know if I would regard that as a comfortable enough thing to draw a circle around and say these two things are not connected anymore. These things are unrelated. This is my point: is that what's the size of your lens, and how important do you think the difference is? I mean, there's important differences between every band who has even a slightly signature sound, but that's why we call them different bands. That's why they are different bands. But a genre has to have some useful application. It has to be something you can usefully use to say these things are different in an important way. But the definition that you would draw between some of these bands is one that doesn't, for me, also hold up to tying them in with other bands. So, like I said, I just think that a genre should only be used for things that are really important, like the difference between rock and pop. There's a lot of crossover. There are things that sit in the middle, but as there always will be with anything, there's always going to be areas of grey. But essentially speaking, we can say what the difference is between pop and what the difference is with rock, because it's nice and clearly defined. We can say what the difference is between, I would say, hard rock / metal and normal rock, and there's a sort of comfortable thing. That's very much about sort of the there's a real sort of difference in when you would listen to those types of music that can be very clearly defined because they have a sort of different purpose, a different intensity. And again, they have a grey area in the middle. I just think that genres are useful as a guide, but when you get to using things like power metal, arena metal, melodic metal, I've heard used as a different thing, like having a melody becomes a genre. When you're playing around with these terms, you just end up with a bunch of Venn diagram circles that look like someone's gone crazy with a I forgot what was the name of the thing the kids used to use, where they drew little circle patterns. I can't remember. Rock, hard rock, is it all just music? Yeah, Loon, I'm with you on this. Again, I do see the point of genres, but only if you actually can do something useful with them. And I think when you get to this whole thing with metal's one of the worst ones. I mean, the worst one by far is EDM. EDM is just ridiculous because, EDM is not a very wide-reaching genre anyway, and they've got like 20 billion subgenres in EDM. But metal's getting pretty close as a second place in just having subgenres that don't really serve any purpose but to make people feel either like they can. I think, these genres start to become more useful for trying to characterize music in a way that is somewhat limiting, because then people say, well, I'm going to write an arena metal song, and then there is such this tight set of guidelines for what that thing is that I don't see what these things achieve, because I don't believe you can draw the neat circle around them that would be necessary to say that's what it is. Or at least a circle that's wide-ranging enough to grab a good amount of things and push out a good number of opposing things. Sorry, I know this is becoming like a intense rant, but this is one that's very interesting for me, and I'm happy to be corrected. I just feel like I feel like when you're working at that level of detail, it becomes not useful anymore. CMC Tesco standard sausages, for example, taste like poo, so I pay 50p more and get the Oishi finest ones with actual taste of fecking sausage. Yeah, sausages are an interesting one. They're one where you really taste the difference. Oh, sorry. Excuse the pun. You really that's Sainsbury's, isn't it? You really do taste the price difference. But yeah, I'm not saying that you should only buy own brand. I'm just saying that for me, buying own brand was, not everything I bought was own brand, but most of what I bought was own brand, and for me that felt good. But yeah, if I had the money and there was something that I wanted to be a little bit better, then of course we all splurge a little bit on the things that we care about. Oftentimes generic band merchandise is made in the same factory as the name brand versions. I never thought that before, but I can imagine that makes sense. I can believe that. But there you have listed 3 bad bands. Metal is stuff you mute on Neon streams, so you are the judge. That's Talloon. I mute screams from the terrible vocals. Grunge was more an easy label from journalists. Yeah, but come on. sorry, I know, Andy, I know you're making a very relevant, and you're correct about your historic point, but then again, so was metal. Metal was a genre name invented by journalists to define a thing that went off and became its own thing. Interesting thing about grunge, although you can sort of set some musical rules for what grunge is, I still don't feel comfortable calling it an entire genre. I think any genre where the mood is part of what you have to factor in, I think that can be problematic. Because if a genre is a type of music that has to have a very specific mood, then I don't think it's a genre. Because a genre should be a set of sonic things, but shouldn't affect you being able to use notes that... I mean, for example, if you said this genre, so if you say one of the differences between metal and hard rock is that metal is very riff-based, okay, I can say that's a technical thing, and then we can have a discussion about that, and I would certainly say there are grades of truth in that. But if we were saying that the difference between metal and hard rock is that, I'm not saying anyone is saying this, but if we were saying, for example, because this might come into more even more microscopic things like doom metal and all that, the difference was that this genre has to be really angry, I'd say, well, net I don't buy that, because you could say this this genre is predominantly angry because it uses a lot of really intense, harsh sounds. But there is happy metal. I mean, we all know there's kind of that party style metal that gets invented. So I think when your genre label requires that you have to dictate a mood, I think that's one indicator that something's wrong. And I think grunge very often was more about the mood, which to me was more a reflection of a cultural thing. And yeah, culture does, again, it informs styles of music, but ultimately it should inform a new sound to be created. Now, punk, obviously the big thing about punk is it was very much about being rattly, lacking too much polish, about sort of hard-hitting simple chords, sing-along, shout-along value. But anyone who says, oh, that song's not punk because it's not like angry, which is some people will say, I'll say, no, you can have happy punk. There's no reason you can't have happy punk. One of the, I wish I could remember the Special Thanks, Japanese punk band called Special Thanks, who've been doing some really good covers and some covers of some bands who I shouldn't mention. They did actually, amongst their good covers, they also did cover of Oasis and the band who should not be named. So you can tell that I like them in that I'm willing to overlook that. But no, they're a really fun band. And most of their stuff is really happy, and I'd say it's about as punk gets. So yeah, I don't think you can prescribe a mood. That's something I'd throw in there. That's something I'd throw in as maybe an opinion. Sorry, I didn't read Andy's comment properly, and it was actually quite informed, so I'm just going to read it again. Grunge was more an easy label for journalists for the Seattle scene, and then used with stylistic adjacent related bands. Yeah, basically, yeah. But yeah, I think most genre labels come from, well, until recently, came from journalism. Please hit likes for Jim over the How I Can Buy Dummies Guide to What Metal is. Deaf people with no ears, maybe. Again, some of these I'm not going to catch up with where they were in certain conversations. Coldplay sound like Godzilla, already boring. Greetings from Montreal. Hey, Fernando. Hey, man, how you doing? Power metal. Can you sing the solo when really, really, really drunk? If the answer is no, not power metal. Yeah, but again, this is one of those. I'm not comfortable with. I know you're kind of playing and joking, and I know you've probably got a very good point there in one way. Still doesn't make a genre to me, because there's other types of metal where you can sing the chorus whilst drunk. Greetings from Minnesota. The Five Scotch Man is back. I hope you got a drink with you too, sir. Greetings from hell. Spirograph, that's the one, Rev. I love that you got that the first time. It was just like a vague echo of a memory suddenly came back to me. This is the first time I've ever seen YouTube Studio say excellent connection under my stream. Amazing. Circle thing for kids, Styrograph maybe. CMC again, thank you guys. I love that everyone got 4Bleed's got Styrograph. How did everyone get this right? I could barely even remember the thing. While I was saying that to you, I was like, was this a thing that I've just like dreamed into my memory. Is this really a thing? But yes, that's it. Spirograph. Wow, that was a thing. So what was the point of that? You didn't just draw circles. It was something about you did it and then like you moved it and it made like little patterns because it created circles upon circles. I have to look that up and remember how that worked. Clearly, kids' toilets beyond my brain. I'm really not interested in this genre thing. I hope you don't mean the conversation because I apologize if we're boring you, Sven. If you mean that you're agreeing with me, then that I guess that's good. Loon, question is babe metal a genre? Well, I do believe that I think they genre hop. I think they sub-genre hop. Everything they do, I'd be happy to say, is within metal and hard rock. But they certainly shop around the various subgenres of metal. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying I can't hear there are differences between these subgenres. I just say that I don't feel comfortable using them. Unless it was something like, Babe Metal differentiating their songs by clearly trying to go for very specific subgenre tropes, then you can say that's a good time to use it. But if you're saying, oh, this band's this and this band's that, I just think, NASCAR says no. Oh, that was in relation to Loon. Two sorts of music. I like good music. I don't like bad music. I think you'll probably find in your case, CMC, it's the other way around. They say subgenres can be very reductive at times. I just find some useful in classifying collection. Yeah, no, I get that. They can be. I think it's when someone says it is this or it isn't that. I'm like, but how? Where is your authority to say that coming from? So there's something, and hearing it and deciding for yourself are two different things. Yeah. I kind of get what you're saying there. But yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, even with a band, you could break down a band and say, well, any band who all of their songs come under the exact same genre, let alone subgenre, then that just makes it for a bad band, surely. Yeah, so I think you could even break it down to not only different bands could be considered different genres, but each and every song ever written could be considered a different genre if you wanted to be microscopic enough about it. NASCAR, I know, but I wouldn't consider their music as, Babe Metal. Broad genres are fine, pop, country, classic, folk, etc. Fine-tuning every band to squeeze into a genre is rather futile and silly. Yeah, I mean, despite what I've said, I do come down somewhere in the middle in that I do think there are times when you can use these terminologies. I think, okay, here's what I'd say. If you want to take a song and you want to try and break apart what an individual song is, you could, go down a rabbit hole of really trying to pick apart a subgenre, and it could be very useful for trying to define the various parts. Yeah, I think that's actually probably where subgenres are good. I think the problem is when you're trying to differentiate between two songs by using the subgenres and saying, well, no, these songs are different because this one is arena metal and this one is power metal. That's when it becomes a problem, because it's like, well, no, you need to talk about what the actual differences between the songs are, because, sort of saying this one is related to a set of tropes, this one's related to a set of tropes, and then saying they're different because they come from these two different groups is kind of meaningless. It's because when you're doing a comparison, then you have to look at the individual. You have to assess the individual song and its own merits. Then you can't use the reductionist technique because you're actually trying to define two things as different for a reason. So saying they're both different because they're similar to a different thing from each other isn't the same as actually talking about differences. But all right, I'm really going to have to jump ahead because I think I'm a long way behind. People invent genres when they think they need to differentiate something from something. Yeah, I actually think the point I just made just came to me. I think that's actually the best way I can describe it. But fair point. Most modern metal bands do not particularly like being imprisoned in the genre they put in. If that's true, I'm glad. I've never really seen much sign of that, but if that's true, I'm very glad. I don't think they should want to be. Babe metal is not a cult, just to be clear on that. Mood thing, many say punk has to be angry about protest, etc. Daft to me. It's born of protest, but that is part of its history. That doesn't mean it is what it is. I mean, hip hop is born of, born of protest, but from all the way back, it's had various things woven into it. Metal is born of anger. Doesn't mean it has to be that way. Country music is born of lethargy. But you can have some really fun country music. Um, I always found post anything to be a ridiculous term. Yeah, that's one I've never ever heard anyone say post something and it actually have a meaning. Like post punk was one. And I remember asking about, you guys know about that music shop that I did loads of stuff at, not the one in Camden, but the one before that. Going back a good couple of decades. I remember asking the old guy who ran the thing. He was up on all his music stuff, obviously. I remember, what is post-punk? And he said, I don't know. I guess that's what they call grunge. like, yeah, no one really knows. Post anything is a ridiculous term. Motto is exactly right. Punk, just a worse version of American hardcore, says CMC. What are we classifying as American hardcore? I don't know. I'd like to add, I added my point before you said it. Hey, Rev. Fair enough. You win. I'll take your word for that. Post is logical. Post equals after. Yeah, but I mean, but that doesn't set up a series of characteristics. I mean, if you say post-punk, let's use that as an example. If you say post-punk, well, lots of things came after punk. So you're having to define what is the thing that came from punk and replaced it. Well, then you've got two problems. First of all, punk didn't just suddenly disappear. So at what point do we say we are in post-punk? Do we define which one is selling more and in what region of the world does it have to sell more? Then you have to define on top of that is like, okay, well, was something a logical descendant? Did something logically come from it, which is the only thing that comes from it? Because usually a genre dying out does not breed one replacement genre. It breeds a series of replacements. And what if you had one that was born first but grew slower? So, you know, both of them overtake, you know, maybe grunge and then, I don't know, pop punk, I don't know. And you say like, well, grunge came about first, but then pop punk is the logical predecessor because it shares more in common with the writing style. I mean, there is no... You're right that post, as in post means after, is logical common, but it doesn't make any real-world logical... There's no real-world logical way of applying that unless you have a very convenient set of circumstances. You notice that probably the only genre that can be given a fairly good description of having a very quick and definable death would be disco. And you could argue that a lot of things descended from disco. We don't have post-disco for a reason, because it just wouldn't make any sense. You know, there's nothing that clean cut, even with the genre itself ending very quickly. It's like a lot of things that came out of disco, and then you can't just say, well, okay, well, this genre was the most popular one at the time disco went away, so now we're calling it post-disco, because it already had its own definition. So yeah, no, it's for me, it's just it's not a doable, applicable phrase. But point well taken though. Yes, post does mean after. That is the one bit that does make sense. Asian Kung Fu Generation singer played yesterday live and covered an Oasis song. It killed me a bit inside when you said that. With punk, the tricky part is whether you go down the route of the MC5-led proto-American scene or Malcolm McLaren, Vivienne Westwood, when then copying it to sell clothes. I see that's the thing. That's a nice one to talk about if you're interested in music history. I'm interested in music history only really in the, if you like, the way that sounds evolved. Not particularly interested in the people from music history, unless there's like some psychology behind why they did something, which can be interesting to tap into. But for me, I'm more interested in music as its own evolving entity. So my point for that would be more that I don't particularly care so much which one you're looking at. My only point of interest there is that punk was when punk was something that you could define. Same way that a biologist looking at the evolution of humans, yes, there are lots of interesting things you can say about how people evolved, but what most scientists really want to just know is, okay, at what point would you say that is now classifiable as a human, and what traits make it a human? At what point is it no longer an ape or a Homo Homo erectus is the one before Homo sapien. Yeah. So that's yeah. So yeah, that's interesting from a historical standpoint. Seriously, the Let's Go is absolutely a punk band, but a happy punk band, Ditto Mutant Monster. Agreed. Yeah, they're very good examples once again. Logical, sure, but also massively pretentious as well, as if it's implied that this new music is somehow better than what came before. I didn't think about that. I don't know. I would say that the post term often, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, often gave me the feeling that it's more defining the following genre as like a fallout. It kind of weirdly sounds like it's defining the following genre like some kind of afterbirth. I never say that I took anything positive from any genre. Usually any genre called post something to me just sounded like what was left after. So I actually kind of got the opposite feeling, although I don't think either of them has any logical claim to be correct. It's just interesting that you mentioned that. Yeah, that's interesting. No, I never thought of that before. It created Mandalorian drawings. I don't know that one. It all sounds like complete shit to me, Paul, so I don't care. I might have spelled that wrong. This was a very songful. Everything they did. Okay, I'm really skipping through because a lot of this seems to be internal conversation. Outside of LTBR, lucky there would be a good song per album. Disco just had R&B. Yeah, but it produced a lot of like other sort of, that sort of dance style of music. Really, it invented a lot of the dance style of music that we got. Subsequently, for better or worse. Probably, I think you'll find the new 12-Foot Ninja album is post-disco. I don't want to know what that means. I guess everything's post-disco these days because it's all after disco. Isn't Bad Religion usually considered the progenitor of pop punk? I don't know when that crossover could be successfully said to happen, but if someone said to me Bad Religion was, then I would not argue with that. I mean, again, I'd have to do a history lesson to work that out, but it sounds right. Post letters. Although I might be off with that one. Yes, Howard is about to review this in his upcoming video. What was that in regards to post letters? With my punk comparison before, it's more how US and UK punk evolved differently in different environments, but like how Russian and I get that. Like I say, I respect that is one of the interesting things about the history of punk. However, as interesting as that is, it's the fact that they came together naturally because of the fact that both sides of the pond were doing the very same simple thing effectively, which was simple power rage music in the form that it made sense at the time. So it ended up it didn't create two genres. It did actually create one genre. The only difference between the two was just sort of the aesthetic touches that you'd expect from US and UK being different. Waking up and seeing this gorgeous Homo sapien streaming. Thank you, Weeb. Not a bad way to start a Sunday. You're starting your Sunday. I'm already on Monday. It's good to see you again, man. It's been a long time. We should do a chat sometime soon. If my bloody technological side works out a bit better. But no, absolute pleasure having you here, man. I hope everything's going good for you. As always, I pop by the channel occasionally when I actually have some bloody internet. Dance music triggered only music form you can dance. Yeah, actually, that's true. I remember because my dad, who is like the most old-fashioned person in the world, if he talks about dance music, he's literally talking about the dance music as in trad jazz dance music. Yeah. Morning, all you beautiful weebs. Still don't know if I feel comfortable being called a weeb, but I'm a weeb for you. Weeb for you, Mexi. I'm your weeb. Happy belated birthday. Oh, really? Happy birthday indeed. Oh, I hope you did something fun for it, man. The band Carpet in the Bathroom class themselves as post-cross punk country heavy disco. Like the band, the different genres are invented to make fans feel either outsiders or insiders. This was like what we had with Pink fluffy pentagrams, isn't it? Our PFP now in competition against Carpet in the Bathroom. Dark times ahead. Dark times ahead. Morning, but not a weeb. You've got to decide, are you a weeb in the conventional form of the word, or are you a weeb for Mexi? I think we're all weebs for Mexi. Loons dropping the hard. Thank you, Martha. There we go. All right. So yeah. But as I say, I think my find, because I don't want to spend the whole stream talking about this, and I think we've pretty much got to the point where some of us, we've all said our point, and some of us are probably dying of boredom from this conversation now. But I think that the microscopic genre definitions are useful if you yourself are trying to analyze a song and you're trying to almost trying to work out the roots of a song. So you listen to a song for the first time and you say, okay, well, I can hear a lot of certain techniques that are familiar with what I would describe as, let's take one. I'm not going to use a post one though. With prog rock, I mean, that's a fairly simple one. I mean, prog rock has a massive amount of crossover with many things, but you could say, I hear this song and a lot of the traits that I'm hearing are ones that make me think of what would be classified as prog rock. Therefore, I'm getting a prog rock vibe from this. And someone else could come along and say, well, the vibes I'm getting from it are more, just some form of metal. I don't know which. If I say the wrong type of metal, someone's going to tell me it doesn't cross properly with prog rock. But anyway, someone could say that. And you'd be able to then see that as both subjectively having defined the song to a genre. And that would be interesting. The problem is, like I say, I don't think it can be used successfully for song comparisons unless you're talking about two songs that are so obviously different that it becomes benign to even discuss it. And I certainly think that two people talking about a song together, if they're talking about one song, someone saying, well, no, you're wrong, that's not prog, that's this, then it just becomes meaningless. Because as far as I'm concerned, when you're down to that kind of microscopic genre, you're just basically saying what tropes I, as a person, see in this song and stand out to me. So yeah, I think genres are only useful up to a relatively macroscopic level. I often, well, not as often as a lot of people, but I do reference genres in my reviews, mostly because of the fact that when I'm doing it to kind of express what I've heard in the song. But I wouldn't be comfortable comparing two songs based on that, unless I was very sort of ardent on what the factors were. And then I'd probably just say what the factors were. So let's have a look here. All right, a lot of comments coming in. Because my main man Mexi is driving the chat. I'll take a turn back and make it a positive rather than derogatory. I would do anything for love, but I won't listen to that song again. I'll do it for you. Good for you, still not a weep. So Mira is saying karaoke places have reopened. Yeah, I noticed that today. I was walking past the Big Echo in town and it's reopened. So me and my number one karaoke buddy, I'm going to give her a call and we're going to go karaoke sometime soon. I should video that. I'll get her to video it with me. I think, and some of them have ones where actually one of the things that really upset me, the cards that I got, they were usable in Big Echo. And if it wasn't for the fact that I needed food, I would have used them in Big Echo after I get paid. I think some of them have ones where you can play it's gone. Oh, sorry, it's gone off the top of chat. Play guitars in, and they'll even tell you what chords. Yeah, you do have some of those. I have actually brought. I think most people who play music have brought their instrument to a karaoke place, sometimes just for practice. But yeah, you can borrow them. It's quite expensive to borrow instruments, though, at the karaoke places that do that. But it is now in your head. I have been always very uncertain whether they are safe in a pandemic or is it worth going to. Well, vast majority of people here are now inoculated, I'm glad to say. And of course, karaoke, you have a karaoke room, so it's no more dangerous than walking down the street, I think, or going to work. Isn't that just playing Rock Band? Yeah, well, you could say that about karaoke. Isn't that just singing like you could do in your living room? So kind of, yeah. Karaoke with Howard is definitely on my bucket list. Oh man, if you are here, it's not just on the bucket list, it's on the first, last, and every day between list. But banging your real guitars. I think that's what Rock Band was, wasn't it? Rock Band was one of the ones with the real guitars, and it was like Guitar Hero was the one with the weird plastic toy that didn't work. Basically, like Rocksmith, maybe that's the one. Game that is actually also teaching software. Yeah, I think that's the one because I think James had that. A specific cable that also acts as an audio interface. Yeah, that was a cool idea. Please help X the Biscaps drummer Jim by the Howard TM by hitting like, thus ensuring he can carry on drinking beer, or hit dislike so he has to endure the agony of endless sobriety. Damn, I'm glad we got 14 likes then. Mira says Rocksmith, never heard of it, maybe, but we'll check it out. I'm sure it came out in Japan, but I don't know for 100%, but I'm as sure as I can be. The 2014 remastered version is the one to go for over the original. Wow, it is old, isn't it? Well, by GameStand. Tabby Eats YouTube channel did a video just for you, food you can eat at the 100 yen shop. Man, I'm already an expert, but I'd love to see that. Man, they should get me to guest feature. Anytime anyone does a Japan video about living on the breadline, guest featuring Baka Broadcast. Don't threaten me with a good time, puppy. Who said anything about a good time? You're going to be listening to me singing. Thanks for the Discord link there, Harry. If you're not on the Discord, do get on the Discord. It's a good place to have good conversations. They're often better than listening to me talk. Yeah, it's like basically it's like this, but with interesting posts. You don't have to listen to me. Need a bit more of that. Oh, ASMR. It's getting nice and close for this one. Everyone moving away from their headphones now. We're good. We survived. So yeah, basically this coming week is basically going to be the week that we should have had last week. Sorry to get back to this, but I have to say it. I am so ahead on material and so behind on uploading because of not having the internet this last week that I think we're going to be talking video every day for the next 7 days. Hey, we might even get it back to the old days of Baka Breakdown, like over 2 years ago now, with 2 videos a day. It might start getting like that. I need to catch the hell up. And, you know, as I'm now forced to record the videos outside, unfortunately it's taken a little bit out of the quality of the videos, but it basically means that it's now, basically what I have to do is, because I realise that you don't want to do a video where you're talking through a mask, but at the same time I don't want to be taking down my mask and making people feel uncomfortable or risking myself, even though I've been inoculated. So what I have to do is I have to find locations where I'm not too close to people so I can pull down the mask. So it usually be something like a park. I did think bridges are quite nice, but you get a lot of wind on bridges. So when you stand there, it's not so good. I'm near enough to Asakusa that I can go up to the rooftop of a couple of the buildings. Good thing is I know this side of Tokyo so well. I know pretty much all the buildings that have free rooftop access, even the ones that you're not supposed to be able to access. This building here has rooftop access as well, so I can do some of them here. Try to get like a half decent, interesting scene. I did the Trident one walking around, but I don't think that came out looking so good. And it does mean that I have to spend a lot more time on like video smoothing. Really what I want to do is I want to go places where I can just put the little phone camera stand and do it that. For anyone wondering why I'm not using the big camera, I am actually thinking that I should be using this camera again. I've got replaceable batteries for it as well. So it is a bit difficult because sometimes when I'm going places where I've got to do work and stuff. So it's a bit hard to lug it around or a bit risky, but I will try and use that a bit more often. The sound is not necessarily better, but the difference is that, I mean, it does have inbuilt compression on the sound on that camera, which the phone does not have. It just clips when it hits the top of the amplitude. So if you get noise on this, it can be a bit of a mess. But when you've got it on the camera knows how to compress the sound and basically prioritize vocals and speech. And it also has a bit more wind blocking than the phone does. However, I think the sound quality is overall slightly worse. I don't think it has quite as good sound resolution as the phone does. So I've got a few things to measure up. But of course, as you guys know from last December when I was doing my trip around Japan, I did do outdoor videos with that camera then. So it's not out of the question. Oh, I had a graphic for this. Wait. We're talking about the Plan. Yes, I got that from Pixabay. My favourite of all of the free stock image websites. So, yeah, I will be doing a lot more and finishing a lot more of those videos. But next week's going to be pretty full on. But even though it's going to be a lot of work, and as I say, I'm going to try and mix the desired format that I was doing before, where I was using the imagery, with the now enforced format of having to do the outside videos, and maybe marry them together by doing videos which are kind of a mixture of both. Obviously, I can't just do completely images now, because if I just do the videos the way I've been enjoying doing them recently, people are going to be like, well, why have we got these nice clean-cut images with this weird outdoor sounding audio behind it? So I have to intersperse between them. So I'm making that as interesting as possible by picking interesting places to record the talky bits. There's a lot of this channel is being done in a making the best of a bad situation kind of way. But I am going to make these videos as good as I can, whatever the setup is. And I've got a lot to talk about, a lot of videos to put out, a lot of things that I'm just really excited to do. I've got a lot of responsibilities and stuff that I've got to deal with as well. I've got stuff I need to be doing with James for his business that has fallen like a good month behind where that should be. But circumstance obviously being part of it. I've got all kinds of things I need to catch up on, but the channel next week, there is, every time I say this, it doesn't happen, but the channel, you know, like I say, everything's in a position where it should be really steaming ahead next week, and I do think we are going to be in line for a one video, maybe even more every day situation, starting from this coming week. So, yeah, if you like the channel, be excited. All right, I know there's been a lot of comments coming. We've been going nearly an hour and a half, so we're going to start rounding this one up soon, but I'm going to catch up with the comments and just see what everyone's nattering on about. Again, I'm really behind. Where were we? Discord link. Tabby Eats YouTube channel. Oh, yep. Don't fret me. Please also hit the like button. So we can continue arguing about genre labels until the end comes. Auditorial, please. Do they have onsens where you are sing karaoke in the tub? That come across me. I am, by the way, still thinking that anyone who's on the Discord, when I joked about doing the poetry video of the Nemophila lyrics, I'm genuinely thinking I'm going to do that. I know that's copyright infringible, but I'm genuinely thinking I'm going to do that now I've seen the lyrics. Ooh. I might even bring myself to do a version of Don't Let Me Down by Bandmate as a poetry reading. Oh, this is not, you guys might remember this is an idea that I had before where I was going to do this with actors. The problem is it was really hard to get the actors. I couldn't afford to pay them even though they were really cheap. I was even cheaper. Off to be a semi-functional member of society for a bit. Been nice talking to you all again. Howard, don't starve. Seen most of the rest of you on the Discords. All right, Andy. As a real pleasure. I know that it was a little while when you were kind of busy, so it's good to see you back, man. A real pleasure to have you around, and always good to speak to a person who's got different, but very well-informed views, so I can get schooled on my own channel. Rooftop Reviews. You can check that off your list too. Yep. Stay for there. Alright. Next, Howard needs to record at the beach in his jammies. Well, you remember the last time I recorded at the beach? Wait. Yeah, sorry. So you haven't seen the Korea video, but you've seen the Korea reviews, obviously. When I was stranded on an island, a beach island, in Korea for reasons that you guys still don't know why I was. And then while I was recording the review, I got attacked by a seagull. For anyone, if anyone who wasn't around when we had Backer Breakdown won't have seen that, but the bit where I basically had a fight with a seagull in the middle of a review, now that's the kind of shit other channels can't compare to. All right, I will fight wild animals in the middle of reviews and get attacked by cute little dogs. I think Howard jammies are not suitable for work. I don't even have jammies until my girlfriend bought them for me. It's the first time I've ever owned pajamas. Pinky raised while qualifying. Form is temporary, class is permanent. Oh, is my camera frozen? I think my camera's frozen. Oh, it has. Bollocks. Alright, let's... The plan is still there. Video capture device. Boing. Oh no. Oh Jesus. Alright. That's the sound of me pulling out the USB and replacing it. And there we go. Yeah, so still having problems with this web camera. Alright. Oh well. Better than it was before. So like I say, we're going to round this one up fairly soon. But I'm just reading through the comments. Hair loss is irreversible. Regal, Lily are forever. Ha! Sorry. Your hustle is freaking admirable, my dude. I've always respected it. And so stoked on what you got coming. Wholesome content. I try to be wholesome. Thank you, man. As always, I mean, yeah, like just it's a real pleasure. I mean, as I say, I've always been I was always in the beginning. I was slightly reluctant about doing too much for other YouTubers until we got over 1,000 subs on the previous channel. Because most of what I saw on other YouTube channels, I didn't like. If I'm honest with you, there's no disrespect. It's just kind of like, do you really want to collab with other people if you don't really feel like you vibe with what they do? And then just yeah, it was really through the guys on the channel connecting me to Mexi and Neon that I kind of met people where I was like, oh, okay, actually, yeah, you know what? That I enjoyed, that I would watch. So I guess really I needed to be led by people who already knew kind of the content I enjoyed and the content I didn't. And then they wised me up. So, no, I really, as always, man, I appreciate so much what you do as well. So, anyway, by the way, anyone who hasn't checked out Mexi Kelly Weeb's channel, then obviously, I know most of you guys already have, but if you haven't, then do. More Japanese music content and with like actual genuine opinions, with actual intelligence. Not just like people going, yeah, when the Nemophila song came out, I started getting my stuff together to do my review. And let's put it this way. Whilst doing my detailed search, I happened across some of the millions of, because of course Nemophila get a lot of views, so now everyone wants to react, and not because they're actually interested, but because, so the amount of really, really cringe-inducing reaction videos I came across from Nemophila. You want to see a proper reaction? Go to Mexi Kelly Weeb. Loon, yep. Evening, Sammy. You arrived just as I'm getting ready to finish. Nobody tell him. Time machine engaged. I'm going to have to go back and read this after the stream. Something about seagulls. Go for it. Genre talk was fun. Good vibes. Pick up on good vibes. Man, I don't know. Do people think I bring good vibes or neurotic madness? All right, guys. Well, look. I'm going to put it up and just say it for a start. Thank you. I know I'm in a quiet place where the walls are basically made of paper and I'm having to talk like not literally made of paper, as would be the stereotype, but kind of. But thank you for all appreciating the ASMR that's been occurring on this stream. Sorry. That was not the ASMR. I don't deserve you. In a form of punishment. What did I do to deserve this? I was a good Mexi Kelly Weeb. What did I do to deserve this? Yeah, I get it. Have a good one. All right, guys. Look, I am gonna drift over onto the Discord. Have a little chat with you guys on there. was a little bit slow starting up the stream, as some of you actually. By the way, anyone who was here for the blackout when we started this stream earlier, apologies, but I can't wait to go back and watch that. That was really funny. Now, actually, just leading up to that, I got a phone call from a friend who was having a bit of a bad time, so I'm going to give her a call back. Check she's all right, but otherwise I'll probably be popping onto the Discord. Big thank you to you all. It's a really interesting conversation. I love that these conversations usually end up in everyone thinking one thing, me thinking the opposite, and then us breaking it down, which is really great. There's always a lot to unpack on this channel. I haven't said that enough recently. But yeah, I loved breaking down the genre thing, and I think I came to, at least for my own personal feeling, I think I came to an interesting conclusion where I managed to evolve my own opinions based on what you guys said. So I hope it was a productive conversation for you as well, even though it's a conversation that most of us have probably had a billion times before. Good to talk about those new releases. Do go check them out. If you don't know about the new releases, go back to the beginning of this stream and you'll see what we talked a little about. There's a lot of music coming up before the end of this year. There's going to be some really cool stuff coming. Next week, hopefully, will be the channel on steroids. That's not saying I'm going to end up looking like Dwayne The Rock Johnson or anything. Just basically I'm going to be working faster. It's going to be this channel on neuroses, would probably be the real way to put it. And yeah, that's basically where we are. So thank you. We got 17 likes. I really appreciate that. If you haven't pressed like yet and you're enjoying this, then please do press like. It's I'll go for the old cliche. Just say what we always used to say. On these videos, especially these live streams, these are really long videos where we have longer audience and retention. So your like is like a currency to us. It really does help a lot. Massive thank you to our patrons, as always, for the real currency. But you people who like and follow the channel and comment and everything, you're doing us a big service as well. So thank you to you all. I am getting a little bit tired now, but you know what? I really hope that I hope I'm still going to be here next week. Unless I find something really good. But I really hope I'm going to be here next week. And then with a bit of luck, hopefully I'll get some of the posters and stuff set up on the back wall for a little bit. Maybe add a little bit of the old Cardboard Palace charm. But I'm going to try and keep content really interesting for you guys. Anyway, let's read the last couple of comments, and then I'm going to throw the towel in for today. You stay beautiful. Good, sir. Thanks for streaming, and glad we got an update on you. You're always welcome, man. I've been by the way, I have still been recording those video diaries, just haven't had time to upload them. So there's like a whole batch of video diaries that one day in like 15 years will get released. Stay safe. It's time to head into works, isn't it? Good luck to you, man. Time to listen to one more title. Good for you, Harry, sir. Good for you. It's been emotional, says Martin. Indeed. Ciao tomorrow. Okay, with Jim Vine, not Weebs, me. Stay safe, stay happy, and listen to the Peggy's album next week. Yeah, Peggy's going to be... I mean, I've got mixed feelings on the new Peggy single, but I can't wait to hear their album. I'm really hoping it's going to be the Peggy's we know and love. People who act like that equal people who sell themselves out for views or genuinely have zero standards. Agreed, Martin. Agreed. I'm with you on that, man. This channel is ad-free and CMC's hitting all the marks. This channel is ad-free and is based on the waffle and ramblings of someone who's been around music all his adult life and will not blow smoke up. Oh, yeah, I haven't said that for a while as well. You would have to get Boulder to be as awesome as the... I like that is the difference that you see. I'm not bold enough. Martin, cheers, peeps. Discord has been such fun last few weeks. While I wasn't there, thank you so much. You will be genuinely great help through a roller coaster month. Yeah, Martin's had a hard one, man. I mean, we should talk a little bit more about that, but that's going to be awesome. Community posts unlocked. It's just appeared in my notification now. Community posts unlocked. God damn it, YouTube. I had 1,000 subs and I earned it last time. Now you're just giving it to me easy. Sammy, sigh, and again, I only catch the end. Man, did you know, yeah, it's because I've started this one a bit earlier than normal, didn't I? But I've ended it on normal time. All right, maybe I'll do a late one sometime coming up soon. I just need to get some sleep. That's the problem. GMO, the Howard, can you smell chicken? I got that one too late, but yeah, I like that. That's a meme I can go with. All right, guys, CMC's dropping in that Reddit link now. Remember, Reddit's there for you. Hopefully we'll get some traffic on there as we get things back up. 19 likes. Thank you so much to everyone. Remember, the Discord is where the conversation will be continuing. I just want to say from me a big thank you for you all. Of course, it wouldn't be live stream unless I give you a quick run round of the old beloved bog roll. So, for now, from Japan, I just wanted to say it's been a real pleasure. I am sorry about last week being so slow. Next week, I said it's going to be an amazing roller coaster of videos coming out, which means probably nothing will happen next week and my internet will explode again. But I'll try my best. And I've certainly got a lot of videos lined up. So let's hope I can get them all uploaded and scheduled. Harry's dropped the Discord label. The bog roll is infinite, as you know. But my time is not. So for now, from Japan, you've got a choice. You can either dream of the bog roll, go and do something productive with your life, join me over on Discord with the guys, or you can go and check out Mixie Kelly Weeb for some genuinely good content that's not from me. Who would think that anyone else makes good content on YouTube? You wouldn't imagine it, but it's true. Anyway, it's the third time round, but you know it'll never end because bog roll's infinite. So for now, ciao ciao. Ba 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 ba. So I don't feel like I did the ASMR thing enough. I'm going to find you some interesting ASMRs. Hold on. All right. So this is the ASMR of a battery falling on a knee. It's a big battery. This is the ASMR of a towel rubbing against a very thin wall, which will probably freak out my neighbor. They're wondering, what's he cleaning at this time of night? What did he do to the walls? What should we do next? This is the ASMR of my moustache. Now, you can actually get an electric shock from that. Oh, there you go. What next? Everyone in Japan's favorite ASMR. The air conditioning. Ooh, sexy. Still 7 people watching this. All right. Here's an ASMR. I was about to say it's a lighter, but this lighter is. Oh no! Anyone who knows, there was when I moved into this place, there was like a weird incense thing, but the incense thing was sitting in perfume. I knocked it over by mistake. Some of the perfume's still in there, but some came out, and I was about to light a lighter, but this lighter is covered in liquid from the perfume. I don't think it's flammable, but I'm pretty sure if I press that button, it's going to catch fire in my hand, like the whole thing. Oh. Ah. Okay, the flame did definitely wrap around the top there. This is the sound of a man catching fire. Beautiful. Any more ASMR before we go? The sound of spaghetti. Dry spaghetti. Why is there dry spaghetti in my room? None of your business. Oh, here's one of my favorites. The sound of a zip. And a plastic bag. I think we're good. One of the 7 people left checked out. Oh, I got more likes for the ASMR. So this is basically, the ASMR's better, isn't it? This is what I should do. Backer ASMR. This is the future of broadcasting. All right. So I think I'm gonna. Oh, actually, this is a good one. Who doesn't like this sound? This is the sound of a book, but not being read, being flipped. Oh, I've saved the best for last. Oh no, I had bubble wrap, but this bubble wrap doesn't pop. What an anticlimax. All right. On that note, I'm going to go to have my own little ASMR session. It's going to sound a bit like this. Yeah, this time really chow chow. Thank you so much. I can't believe you guys stayed and listened. I love you guys. Take care.